Page 2. This is a music review of what you've learned in the first book. And when you look at all this, you think, wow, did we really learn all this? Well, hopefully you did. If you didn't, you might want to go back through the first book again because you need to know all of this. That's the problem. You can't forget any of it. No forgetting allowed here. Of course, you're going to use it over and over, so that helps too. But we're going to be adding a bunch more stuff. So it's important to keep up. So if you really are confused about some of this, don't go on. Go back and review the first book again. However, let's go through this and make sure we got it all okay. Number 1 is the matching game. You want to call it a game, I guess. Draw a line from the symbol to what it means. First one is the F. Remember, F is forte or loud. So you find where that is, wherever it is. Where does it say forte someplace? Oh, yeah, it's the second one. Play loudly, that's F. Next one is a P. Well, remember, that's piano or soft. So you find that and draw a line. Next one is that empty circle. Remember, that is a whole note. Find whole note, draw a line. Next one is the solid circle with a stem. That's a quarter note. I'm using American terms here. If you're using some other terms like minims and crotchets and all that, you'll have to do the conversion yourself. I'm using American terms, so quarter note. And so the book uses a quarter note too. Then we have an empty circle with a stem and a dot. Well, the empty circle with a stem is a half note, and the dot, that makes it a dotted half note. MF is mezzo forte or moderately loud. Then the first little box, there's a line above the box. That line represents one of the lines in the staff. It means the box is hanging below the line. And you remember that is the heavier one, and that is the whole rest. Then the next one is empty circle with a stem. That's a half note. Then the next one is the box, but the line is under the box. The box is sitting on the line. That's a half rest. And then the last one with, I think it's a diving bird looking thing or a squiggly, whatever. It's a quarter rest. Or the apples that they've got there, I don't know what you do with those. Have fun, I guess. Number 2, time signatures. What do the numbers mean? And this is good for any time signature, not just these. These are the ones we've had so far. The top number tells you how far to count, and the bottom number tells you what you're counting. Or the top number tells you how many beats are in a measure, and the bottom number tells you which note gets a beat. So 4/4, there's 4 counts in a measure, and a quarter note gets a count. So there's the same as 4 quarter notes in every measure as far as counting goes. 3/4 is the same thing, except there's only 3 counts in a measure. Number 3, musical alphabet. On the keyboard, write the name of each white key beginning with the lowest A and ending with a G. Now, the keyboard they're referring to is this picture of a keyboard in the book, not your keyboard. Don't go writing on your keyboard, write in here. And they've given you the A and the G. They've given you the start and finish. You just need to fill in the alphabet between them, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way up until you get to the top. Okay. Number 4, write the counts by measure under the notes and rests. Then tap and count them. Yuck. Well, they've done the first one for you. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the half note gets 2 counts, so counts 1 and 2 are there, and then 3 and 4 for the quarter notes. Well, B is 3/4, so the half note gets 1 and 2, then the quarter note is 3, and then the dotted half note gets all of them, 1, 2, and 3. C, you get the quarter, each quarter note is 4/4 time. Each quarter note gets a count, so it's 1, 2, and 3 under each note, and then the rest gets 4. Then D, 4/4 time again. Each quarter note gets a count, so you put a number under each note, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the whole note gets them all, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Hopefully you kind of understood what we were after there. It's clear as mud to me, I guess. Number 5, name the landmark notes. And they're showing them in the staff. Remember middle C here, that's a landmark because it's in the middle of a grand staff. There's 2 C's in this. They're both landmark. This is the same note. And then the treble clef is also a G clef. That's that one. And the F clef, or the bass clef, is an F clef. And then you have another C. Yeah, so they're all landmark notes according to this book series. The only real landmark notes I use is middle C, all the C's, and then the F and the G because of the clef signs. Then they want you to write in the name of the notes below. And they give you little lines there on the staff, and you write in the names. And the first, well, you know middle C. Hopefully, there's a middle C in each staff. Same note, middle C. It's just put in C. You don't have to put in middle C. And you can go up or down the alphabet if you're not sure what they are, but hopefully you know the names of these notes now in the staff. If you don't, I encourage you to go back to book 1 and go through that again and learn the names of the notes. It's so important. You see, they're used in communication and in reading and learning about stuff. So if you don't know, you're going to be lost because the books are going to talk about it a lot, and I'm going to talk about it a lot. And if you don't know the names of the notes, you're lost. Number 6, name the notes in each measure. Then circle up or down or step and skip or whatever. So A, the first one is, what are the notes? What's a G and an E? Hopefully you already just named the notes in that staff up above. The letter names should be the same. You went down because the first note was here and you went down. That's down. Remember down? Going, okay. And a step or skip. Well, a step is next to it. Anything bigger than that's a skip. So that's a skip. B, the next one there, letter B, whatever it is a C and a D. Well, that went up because you went that way. And it's next to it, so it's a step here. The next one is a D and an F. Well, again, you went up, and they're not next to each other, so it's a skip. Then the last row, bass clef, you get a C and a D. Again, it went up, and they're next to each other, so it's a step. The next one is an F and an E. Well, that went down. And they're next to each other, so it's a step. And the last one is a C and an A. Again, it went down. And they're not next to each other, so it's a skip. Let me know if you have questions, but you really need to understand this stuff. Also, if you have stickers on your keyboard telling you the names of the notes, and if there's no one else using the keyboard, you need to take the stickers off. You need to know the names of the keys on the keyboard by now. Seriously. If you don't know the names of the keyboard, you really are going too fast. Go through book 1 again. You are not ready for this book yet. Now, if there's somebody else using the keyboard and they're still learning and need them, then that's different. But otherwise, you should not be relying on stickers on the keyboard to tell you the names of the notes.